Hello, what is up guys? Welcome back to my new video. Today I'm be ranking every Forza Motorsport 5 track there is. So this is just the base game and I don't think there are any DLC tracks. Um so yeah, just if I miss anything just let me know down below and I'll apologize if I missed something. But this is just the base game, including the updates, and this is the end of life support after. But yeah, this is also based on my opinions, like the rating, and hopefully you guys enjoy this video. So yeah, let's get started. So at number 17 we have Road Atlanta. Now it's not a bad track necessary, but I put it here because I don't know, it's kind of repetitive and I'm not really a huge fan of this track in my opinion, so that is why I put it last place. But one thing I also don't like about this track is, if I'm correct, they didn't add the other layouts, which do work well for smaller car classes, but they didn't do it for this game, which kind of sucks. And I do want to say the graphics are amazing, and if I say graphics, I'm sorry, but this game just looks phenomenal even today. But I'm just not a huge fan of it, so that's why I'm put it here. Number 16, I have Indianapolis. The reason why I'm putting it here is because if you look at other Forza games, they work really well with, like, there's so many other like car classes and other categories, which is one thing I really like about those games. And this track works really well because it's a real life world circuit. But this game, you didn't have that much stuff and it's kind of limited if I'm being honest. So this is why this game didn't do it that great, and it could have been so much better. So at number 15 we have the test track. Now if I'm being completely honest, why on earth wouldn't they put this in the career mode? Like let's say if they put it this for like some categories like the fastest cars, it would be so much fun. Because if you really think about it, this map was including like the infected modes and like the open airfield stuff, and I don't understand why they wouldn't put it for like the career mode or like any offline mode. And it does suck because if you really think about it, Forza is more of like a simcade arcadish than like real full sim. And full sims would be like Gran Turismo or this PC game called Assetto Corsa. I think you heard about it. But I don't know, I feel like if they put it in the career mode, it would have been so much fun. And it's also a very unique one, and I just don't understand why they wouldn't do that. So that is why I'm putting it at number 15. So at number 14 we have Sabrine track. Now I don't know, like I said, Indianapolis, this track works very well for like real world circuits, and I do wish they would put this track, they would make more car categories, and this track would work so well, but because of the limitations of this game, they this track was in their gray. But one thing I do like about this track, and that's the only good thing I like to say, is that this track is pretty big. I give that. And this track is basically including almost every Forza game, like the newest one, the most oldest one, and I think, and it's kind of a bit repetitive, and I'm not a huge fan of this, so that is why I'm putting it at number 14. So at number 13 we have Laguna Seca, aka the Mazda Speedway track. I don't know. I actually do like this track in my opinion. It is pretty good for what it is. But one thing aspect that made it better in my opinion was that since this game was on Xbox One, you could have way more cars and like way more players in each race, which made it more realistic in my opinion, and this is what it made it fun for me personally. Like instead of 8 players or 4 players, you could have like 16 to 24 players, which is absolutely really cool. And the only thing I'll say is that there are less cars, which makes it less fun, uh but the graphics make it also pretty fun. And I just overall like this track. It has a lot of turns, it's unique, and it's fun. So yes. At number 12, we have Silverstone. So one thing I want to say about this track is uh this track works very well in this game because, like I said, this game has 16 players each race, I think. And also wanted to say is that this game you have like it's really wide, and this track works pretty well for like all classes pretty much because if you really think about it, there are like so many layouts of this track. It's actually crazy. And I don't know, this track is pretty unique. I think a lot of you know what this track is. But it is a pretty unique track. And I do, if there was more categories it worked better, but for it is, it's pretty good. So at number 11 we have Cataluna Circuit. I think that's the way you say it. I think it's in Spain also. But this track, it's actually pretty cool. It's better and worse at the same time because if you think about the thing I like about this track is it made me more realistic because of more cars each races, and the realism of the graphics and just overall the game, it made it more realistic, which is one thing I do like about it. And one thing that made it worse on the other hand was that they removed a lot of the layouts, which made it required to race like the full circuit, which kind of sucks because if you look at like other older Forza games, like Forza Motorsport 3 in particular, you had many layouts and a bunch of other racing games, and it made sense for like some categories because some are not that fast or some are slow. So I don't know why I didn't do it, but besides that, it's pretty good. So at number 10, we have Top Gear's track or circuit, whatever you call it. This track is actually pretty good in this game for what it is because this track, if they didn't add the special events, I would put this at probably number 16, I think, because this track works really well for only like some classes, like the lower tier classes. But because they added the special events like this one, as you can see on the screen, they're very like unique and sometimes wacky. It's still kind of fun because if you really look at Forza, it's more of a simcade kind of, and that is what it should be. And plus you had like way more challenges. I had like bowling pins and like escape tiny cars, whatever, and it was pretty unique for it is. And you had more of them in Forza Motorsport 4, and I'm glad they brought this to Forza Motorsport 5, and it's very unique because we don't really have much stuff like this now, but we do in this game, which is why I'm putting a higher tier. At number 9, we have Le Mans, or Le Mans, whatever you call it. This track is actually pretty cool in my opinion because if you really look at this track, you also have the smaller circuit, like the Bugatti circuit. It's like smaller version for like low tier cars, and that's what I like about this track in particular also. And one thing I want to say is that this track has different weather effects. Like it's not just sunny; it has like clouds and like other realistic stuff put into it, which adds the realism of it. And I'm glad they added the full circuit because it is a lot of fun, and it is probably the second biggest track in the game, probably behind from Nürburgring, but it is still fun. So at number 8 we have Road America. Now this track, it's actually pretty good in my opinion. because I know this track was featured in so many Forza games at this point. It is still a lot of fun in my opinion. And it works well for like a lot of car classes as well. And also the track is really big, so it works well for like a lot of players, like 12 to 24 players. And this is one thing I really like about the track. And also this track looks the best than ever in my opinion. And I like about it that they included a lot of the layouts, which is pretty nice, except for the small one. But besides that, it's still pretty fun track. At number 7, we have Yes Marina. Now, this track is actually pretty cool, but it does work better in other Forza games. The reason why I'm giving this an higher tier is because this track was added in this game the first time, and it does work kind of well because it is a big track, and they just added like 16 players each race, or 12 player. I can't remember, but it is still a lot of fun, and for what it is, and it is a really huge track in my opinion, and just overall, and it takes long to finish, which is one thing I like about it. The only thing I'll say I don't like about this track, because this game had limited cars and a lot of those DLC, like obviously. Uh so this game was still kind of fun, but only used for certain car classes, which kind of sucks. But for it is, it's still pretty good track in this game. At number 6, we have Mountain Paranora. I think that's the way you say it. This track is actually really good in my opinion, and this is the only track in the entire game where it's set in Australia. But this track is also really unique for its own reasons. First of all, this is not a city circuit, it's set in the country, and it is very unique for it is, and it's set in like this woods vibe, which is one thing I like about it. And one aspect I really like about this track is absolutely huge. And one thing I like about this track is that this track is really challenging, has like a bunch of turns and hills, and it just makes it more fun in my opinion. And I do wish more tracks like this, there would be a little more tracks like this, but this is a very good track. So at number 5, we have Nürburgring. Now, if I'm being honest, I do like this track in this game because if you really think about it, this track could have not even been included in this game because this was an updated track. But besides that, it is still a very good track, and it's better than ever because not only because of the graphics, but because they also include the Grand Prix circuit, which is kind of awesome, and that is one thing I really like about this track. And it completes the whole set in this game, and it's just really unique in my opinion, and I definitely do wish we would get more tracks like this, but this is a pretty good track. So yeah. At number 4, we have Spa. Now this track is actually pretty good in my opinion. This track was also included for the first time in this game. But I just also really like this track because it's really big track, and this game was in the Xbox One games in there were like more realistic, which added the realism to this track and the game, and it just felt more realistic playing this track, and that is one thing I like about it. And this track is also really cool because you have so many turns, and it's like hard. You have a bunch of like hills and stuff, and that is one thing I really like about this track, and it's absolutely beautiful. For the first time featuring, this is just the way you do it. So at number 3, we have Long Beach. Now this track is pretty good for it is because this track is a fictional track, I think, and it was only featured in very few games, or just this game, I think. But besides that, it is a very unique track set in California, I think. And it is very unique because it's not just like because this track was like, you have a bunch of like turns, and it's based on a real city, and the roads are really small, which is one thing I don't like about this track. But besides that, it is still a very fun track to play. Uh, Even though it's small, kind of. And number two, we have Bernese Alps. I absolutely love this track because this track looks absolutely amazing. Like, everything about it is just breathtaking. And one thing I also really like about it is that not is it only big, but the roads are very wide as well, which gives you a lot of room where you want to go on this map. And I definitely do wish this map would return to the newest Forza Motorsport game, but I'm not sure if we're gonna get that. But I wanted to say is that this track is absolutely beautiful, and there's nothing like this. And this is also the only track in the game or in the entire franchise that takes place in Switzerland, which is understandable. But I absolutely love this track, and that's absolutely amazing. So, at number one, my favorite track in this game is Prague. This track is absolutely amazing. I like this track because it is a very unique one. And it's a fictional track, which basically it's not featured in another game, but just this franchise. And this track is very unique because it's set in like rivers, and you drive through like bridges, and of course the city streets. And one aspect I do like about this track is because this track is based on a real world location, and some of the stuff you drive through this track is based in real life, which is one thing I really like about this track. And I must say, this track is pretty challenging, I must admit, because you have like a lot of steep turns and stuff like that, and it makes it more fun and immersive, in my opinion. And this track is absolutely amazing. So this is why this is my favorite track in the entire game. Alright, there we have it, guys. We ranked every Forza Motorsport 5 track. I know this might have been a long list, but this is my first time doing something like this, ranking a track in the game. But I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Let me know if I should do other stuff like this, if like 2 other games and stuff. If you do, then leave a like and comment down below, like what do you want to see. But as always, I hope you enjoy watching this video. Thank you for watching, and peace out, guys.